Coach, please get us started.
Yeah, first off, thanks for being here today. Obviously, our team and our staff and administration want to start off by thanking the Gasparilla Bowl for all the hospitality that they've shown us so far this week. It's been first class, obviously, to be in Tampa. It's a little bit warmer here in Tampa, although I'm wearing a sweater as a tip of my hat to all you back in Columbia, because I know how cold it is there. Very excited about this signing class. I'm going to try not to say very excited as many times as possible in this press conference, but it's always a good day when you're able to add talent to your roster and to the brotherhood. We start with an emphasis on recruiting the right fit for the University of Missouri. We were able to sign a lot of really good football players, 7 players from the state of Missouri, 3 from the state of Texas, 2 from Florida, 1 from Tennessee, South Carolina, Illinois, Indiana, 1 from Louisiana, 1 from Arkansas, 1 from Mississippi, 1 from Washington, and 1 from Georgia. So we spread out all across the country. We were able to continue our focus of keeping the best players that we possibly can in the state, focusing on the Midwest, and then going and supplementing the talent from around the country. We were able to add 6 state champions in this class, which for us is always a great sign when you can add a winner. Winners win. We were also able to add a junior college player in Tristan Newsom. We were also able to add a couple of key transfers so far, and it's important for everybody to understand that recruiting never stops. Recruiting is going to continue to go, and we're still recruiting transfers, and there's still an open window for us to have some official visitors on January 4th through the 8th, and really the first day for transfers for us will be January 17th when the first day of the second semester starts. So with that, I'll open it up for questions, and I'll let Ryan be the question asker, and I'll just sit up here and answer questions.
Thanks, Coach. Gabe Yerman, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, Eli, I guess the best case scenario for a coach on signing day tends to be kind of lack of drama. I mean, how happy were you that I guess, first of all, you were able to hang on to every kid that had been committed to you prior to today?
Yeah, obviously that's a tribute to our coaching staff and all the hard work they did to build some relationships. We were able to get some key guys over the course of the last 3 days, kind of finished off the class with a flip from a young man at the defensive tackle position, from Sam, which was really exciting for us to kind of put that final piece of the puzzle together today. And so, obviously when other schools had people lose commitments from their home state, you tend to get worried. But we were able to maintain and hold on, and really excited that we were able to keep Jabari Johnson, Bari all the way out in Seattle, especially with the way the quarterback recruiting kind of went. Obviously really excited to get Jordan Harris out of Pine Bluff as an athlete, just to kind of add length and size to our roster. Obviously to keep Brett Norfleet at home, a tremendously talented player. Marvin Burks there with the drama. He kind of faked us out twice, so it's good to keep Marvin back in, and then obviously we got Blake Craig and Logan Reichert from in-state. Jamal Roberts, a state champion. Josh Manning, tremendous player for us from inside the state. Nick Deloach from right across the border. So again, some really good players that we were able to add.
We'll go next to Kenny Van Dorn.
Yeah, Eli, you brought up Sam there. What kind of led to that late push for him, and what did Al Davis really see in him that made him, try to get him to flip from Wake?
Yeah, Sam was a guy that we had went and watched and seen on a Friday night, and defensive tackle is a position that in this league you've got to be really good. When we took over in last year, we had to sign 4 transfers out of the portal to get the size that we needed at that position. And obviously Sam's 6'3 and a half, and he's already 305, and he's got great bend and size. And welcome, Dave. And so we're excited to, for us to find a way to get him on our roster. It's hard to recruit that kind of size, and when you add him along with Marquise Graciel and Jalen Marshall in the previous class, you really have the nuts and bolts in the size requirements in the trenches.
Gerard Hamilton.
Coach, is there a different level of satisfaction when you can flip a recruit as opposed to just regularly, getting them yourselves? And kind of a second part to that, is there a different level of satisfaction from flipping that recruit when they're a conference opponent that you will play or a bowl game opponent?
Man, it's kind of a funny question because we kind of had an idea that this was going to go our way during the coaches' social that we had Monday night, and for all of us to keep a straight face and not let that one kind of slip out was a little bit difficult. But in recruiting, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. I don't rub it in as probably as much as I'd like to, but it's kind of fun when you beat people who think they got you.
Kyle McAndrew.
Hi, Eli. You mentioned there sort of the 7 guys that you brought in from Missouri, and how that's been the backbone of your recruiting since you've been here. I wondered how do you rate your success recruiting the state this year? How happy are you with how you were able to do that?
Yeah, I think when you look at the players that we were able to get, obviously there's a lot of really good players in the state, but it's all about finding those guys that really want to be a true son. And when you talk about, Jamal Roberts, a state champion, Josh Manning, an elite wide receiver who had several offers come in late. You talk about Brett Norfleet, a state champion who had every offer in the country pretty much at tight end. Logan Reichert, who has elite size and help us to win in the trenches. Marvin Burks Jr., a state champion who obviously had multiple offers that we were able to defeat. Blake Craig, a great kicker, and then obviously we kind of include Nick DeLoach there, and that same thing being right there, right across the river. So very excited about those guys and our ability to attract quality players. And again, as they see local players play for us and contributing, like Luther Burden is contributing right now, and Armand playing as a true freshman, Makai Miller playing as a true freshman. These are guys that we recruited. Even Dominic Lovett, first team All SEC player, from St. Louis, from Missouri, that are getting their opportunities to really compete as we're continuing to demonstrate. Not only are we recruiting those guys, but we're recruiting guys who have the opportunity to play. I think it's going to continue to help us do a better job of locking down the borders.
Jack Sobel.
Eli, with Jabari Johnson, what kind of quarterback is he? What can Mizzou fans expect from him?
Yeah, Jabari one's a born leader, and that's something that at that position you got to always be excited about. He's a playmaker both with his feet and with his arm. Have been able to watch him on the basketball court, and is a natural, fluid athlete who can also distribute. Now he says he's a shooter. I think he's more of a passer, but I digress on that. But he's got the ability to really throw. He's an accurate deep ball thrower, but he's also got that B button quickness and shake and bake ability.
Dave Matter.
Hey Eli, how does Theo Weiss kind of fit into your offense? Is he sort of a plug and play guy since he's played a lot at Power 5 level?
Yeah, really excited about Theo and what he can bring to our offense from a size standpoint. He allows us to really have the opportunity to play him at X and potentially move Luther around in our offense a little bit more. And we really felt like in order for Luther to be as successful as we could, we need to kind of put him in a position. Now that we have Theo who can handle that X, that'll allow us to move Lou around and create some matchup issues. Along with the emergence of Makai Miller, I can't wait for everybody to see Demarion Houston play, Peanut play. You got Mookie Cooper. That's just another position with a lot of weapons, and and really excited about how those guys are all going to come together.
Gabe?
Yeah, continuing with the transfer and kind of a two-parter here. First of all, given what you're losing at defensive end, how important was it to get Austin in the mix? And then second part is, I know you can't talk about specific kids, but position-wise, you know, what do you anticipate looking for in the portal here over the next month or two?
Yeah, obviously it was really good to get Austin. Obviously we also had Serene, a defensive end, and Ja'Kai Lang, so that allows us with 3 defensive ends right there to kind of replace the 3 that we've for sure lost. You know, we anticipate adding potentially 1 or 2 more defensive ends if the right fit comes for us in the portal. You know, the secondary at the safety position is taken a little bit of a turn for us from a, you know, last year we were more of a 3-corner defense. Now we're more of a 3-safety defense, and so we've had to adjust our numbers around and to make sure that we have enough quality depth and players in there. You know, I thought one of the things that made Dalen Carnell and Martez both so effective was that they played equally snaps, you know, or close to equal snap wise, and so we're going to have to figure out what we want to do at the star position. You know, I think there's obviously always potential to take a player who can provide impact and competition. You know, when we attack the portal, we never really promise starting positions. All we promise is an opportunity to compete, and we wouldn't offer that if we didn't feel like they had the necessary tools and talents to compete. And if we can find a player that we think can help us win, then we owe it to the university and to this team and our staff to explore every opportunity that comes available. So with that being said, Gabe, everybody, we'll recruit anybody.
Kenny?
Eli, kind of looking at some of the guys who aren't going to be here in the spring, like Josh Manning and Marquise Johnson, doing some track and field. Are you kind of supportive of that stuff, or do you just want everybody to kind of get here a semester early?
No, I think it's up to each individual player and person what their maturity level is. You know, time's one thing you never get back. And when young men come and enroll early, they're never going to get their senior year back in the spring. And I hate to take that away from young men. We're in such a rush to get everything started. You know, I think it has to be up to each individual player and their families to make the best decision for them. But I encourage every one of them to stay in school and finish out their high school senior year, because that's something they're never going to get back. And you know, you hate to be in a rush to get somewhere, and you realize that it's the journey along the way that really matters. And so I encourage them to stay, but it's also their decision. And if they want to enroll early, like, you know, it's no surprise to me that Luther Bird, Makai Miller, and Armand Mimbu played this year, because all 3 of them were early enrollees. And all 3 of them had the spring to really get invested in our offense and ready to play.
Jack?
Eli, between like Marvin and Phillip, do you see either of those guys as an ideal fit for the star position, or is it more, or are they more the traditional safeties, or is it more to see when they get on campus?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a determination when they get here. Obviously, Marvin is an early enrollee, and that'll be great for us. And so we'll get a chance to see him rather early in that situation to figure out what's the best way that he can help us play.
Dave?
Eli, with Jabari, I know he committed way back in like May. Was that ever kind of touch and go lately? I know you visited him recently, but we feel confident that he was with you guys all along?
Oh yeah, he's an oak. He's an oak. Never doubted it. Never doubted it. I don't like to throw shade out there. I don't like to throw out unsubstantiated rumors to create message board fodder, you know. So no, I'm good. He's an oak.
Gabe?
Understanding that you've already said you will recruit any player that can help you win, just numbers wise, if you were to go into next season with 3 quarterbacks, are you comfortable with what you have, or do you need to add someone to that room simply for numbers?
No, there's no such thing for me as adding a player for numbers. You know, 2 years ago, well, shoot, going into this year, we really had 3 scholarship quarterbacks on our roster. So, you know, I'm not really in I'm not in a hard and fast stance on that one way or the other, to be honest, right now. I'm looking forward to our game this Friday and seeing Brady and Sam finish this thing out, and then we'll take all the information that we have and make the best decision we need to make for our football team moving forward.
We've cleared the queue. Does anyone else have any questions? Use the raise hand. All right, seeing none. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, I had a question. How cold is it in Columbia? And has the snow started?
Not cold yet. Wait about 12 hours.
It's like 35 right now. We're good.
Is the snow started?
No.
No? So it's the typical Midwest buildup.
I think it's supposed to come in the morning.
Really?
Feels like